Today I've got kind of a special covert knife made entirely of plastic, and we'll get into the specifics of what exactly it's made of shortly, but it's the Cold Steel Nightshade, actually the FGX Nightshade, and this one that I have in my hands is called the Skean Dhu. It's basically a Scottish sock knife. The meaning of Skean Dhu in Gaelic just means black knife, but basically they used to carry a knife about this shape and this size in the top of their socks, kind of as a backup knife to their Scottish dirk or another of their weapons that they carried there. This one is made from Griv-Ex, which is proprietary trademark of Cold Steel, but it's really just Grivery. So the blade is made out of Grivery, which is a fiberglass reinforced plastic, with the grip being made of something that Cold Steel calls Kray-Ex, which is really just Kraton. So, you know, it gives it a little bit of a sticky, grippy surface here. And if you'll look there, you can see that they've actually got some jimping in the handle, some jimping on the blade, and these little spots here that are actually hollowed out a little bit for a thumb or a finger placement. This is a stabbing weapon primarily. Yes, it will cut. It'll certainly cut human flesh. I would actually call it a soft tissue offensive weapon, because, you know, if anyone blocks this as you're coming in for a strike, there's a good chance that they can not only deflect this, but that it could actually get broken as it comes in. And it's probably more of a single-use knife, so, you know, you can tape it and fasten it, stick it pretty much anywhere, just basically because it's made out of Grivery. It's not going to rust, it's not going to warp, crack, or split, even in extreme conditions. So extreme cold, extreme heat. The only metal piece, if you notice this little ring here, Cold Steel does this on all of their Nightshade series knives right now, and they've actually got several of these out, but they put this little metal ring here because they had gotten a little bit of flack for producing a knife that could go through airport security scanners. It can certainly go undetected through metal detectors and things like that would normally pick up a regular knife, and that would pick up a handgun. So they put this little ring on there, but the ring is really, you know, it's nothing major that you should be concerned about. You could take a pair of pliers and bend that out. I can probably actually, I can bend it apart with my hands, so I could certainly take that off if I wanted to. Survivalreviews.com certainly does not recommend that you try to sneak this on board an aircraft or anywhere that they have metal detectors and security screeners, government building, anything like that. That would be illegal unless you're a member of law enforcement, or if you're an air marshal, you know, then it would be something that could be considered. But it will definitely penetrate soft tissue easily. It's probably not going to penetrate bone, and like I said, you know, you may get one, maybe two usages out of it, and then you're going to have to replace it. It's not something that could be sharpened very easily unless you would just simply scrape it against some type of stone or the concrete even until, you know, you got a little point built up there or an edge built up. But if I try to, you know, cut paper, you see that it's not really gonna do anything. I could certainly, you know, stab paper with it, you know, and pull it through, but you notice how the edge is jagged. So while it is sharp, certainly sharp enough to, you know, cut human flesh if you were, you know, sliding it across someone's hand, you know, stabbing and then pulling through. It would certainly do that, but it's not going to make a very nice slash. It's definitely not going to make a very deep cut, just because of the nature of the material it's made from. Now, something good about these knives is you could buy one of these, you could hide it around the house, outside of your house. You could stick it inside of an aquarium, you could stick it inside of the toilet bowl, you could tape it or stick it pretty much anywhere, and you know, you don't have to worry about the edge getting dull, which can happen with some blade steels. It's fairly rigid. I can bend it and flex it. I could probably snap it in two if I really tried. I'm not going to do that though, but it definitely does flex when you move it around. If you look at the length here, make sure that I get this. It's about 7 3/4 inches long. The thickest width of it is a little bit over maybe 1 1/8 inches. I don't know if you guys can see that. Maybe 1 1/8 inches wide, and then the thickness is about 1/4 inch thick. So it's a cheap little knife. You know, they're not very expensive. On Cold Steel's site, it retails for $12.99. You can certainly find it cheaper online. Purchase it from, say, Amazon.com, and you can get it much cheaper. I think I purchased this one from Amazon for about $6. If you look at the craton handle here, it's actually molded directly around the Griv-Ex blade that goes down into the handle, so it's what I would call an encapsulated tang knife. This hole here that currently has this O-ring could be, you know, the O-ring could be taken out. You could put some type of lanyard or something on there. All in all, though, it's not a knife that is very practical, other than for, like I said, offensive, you know, single use, maybe a few times usage knife. It's definitely not something you're going to do anything with in the woods. You're not going to baton wood with it. You're not going to cut anything. You could probably use it pretty easily to cut up your steak at dinner. Other than that, though, the utility of the knife, it was really designed, I believe, just for one purpose, and that is to bypass any type of security screening where they have metal detectors and things like that, just because it is very thin, it's very concealable, and it does not have any metal inside of the knife. I've got a little soda can here. Now, this is not endorsed by the Pepsi Cola company, but I just wanted to see if I could penetrate, and so I've got a can here, and I'm going to try to perforate the can so you guys can see that. This is very dangerous. Do not try this at home. Yeah, so it can penetrate, you know, the top of a soda can. I know that I've shoved this through a hollow core door before. It can easily penetrate that. Something that you will notice here now is you see the tip, just from me stabbing the Pepsi can through the bottom, the tip is flattened a little bit, and it's hard to see, but I've actually scraped a little bit of the Griv-Ex material off. So already the knife, you're seeing some signs of wear to it, and I'm sure the more I would stab it through the can, if I had some jean material, stab it through there, you would see more and more wear and tear. Like I said, it's a good cheap knife for the purpose. You can buy a bunch of these, hide them all over, don't have to worry about the elements. They're concealable. They're great for metal detectors and security checkpoints, but it's a pretty limited use knife. But at the price point, it's still a pretty good deal. That's all for now, guys. Thanks for watching.